Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my Joker 2 video. We have a bunch of new footage to break down, a bunch of Easter eggs, so if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Big reminder, this movie is going to be Elseworlds per James Gunn's new rules, the way he treats the continuity. There's the main DCEU, all the connected films that he's talking about, like Superman Legacy, Batman Brave and the Bold, Joker 2 with Joaquin Phoenix, and the Batman movies with Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves. Those franchises will be completely separate, doing their own thing, as will a couple other things. But for the most part, all the new stuff, starting with Blue Beetle, I think, it sounds like Blue Beetle will be included in the new DCU, will be part of that new connected universe. But there's a whole bunch of new footage and reveals for Joker 2, just starting with one of the biggest things, probably seeing Lady Gaga in her full Harley Quinn makeup and suit. Now, this is obviously meant to be a slightly different version than the version in the comics or in the previous movies, in the same way that Arthur Fleck's version of the Joker was a little bit different from previous versions and comic book versions. Like, the Joker never wore a suit like this, but remember, the movie takes place in the 80s, so the whole style, the clothing everyone wears, everything, the whole vibe is meant to be very 80s. So her Harley Quinn costume is meant to be a version, like when we saw Margot Robbie's version briefly wearing a version of the original version of the costume from Batman the Animated Series in the comics. Remember, Harley Quinn started on Batman the Animated Series, then she came to the comics. This is meant to be Lady Gaga's 80s version of that, basically. But all the pictures here are from the same scene. It's on the courthouse steps, and you see this larger crowd scene with the police around her, and she's sort of railing against them. The protesters are all protesting in favor of Joker with a bunch of signs saying, "Free Joker, justice for Joker, Joker marry me, no justice, not guilty, not joking." So it sounds like a continuation of what we saw in the end of the first movie, where the mob starts to worship him as this cult-like figure. And by the events of this movie, a couple years later, that's only gotten even stronger. The crowd has grown even crazier. The whole title of the movie is a French term for shared madness. So the whole idea is that it references Harley Quinn sharing in Joker's madness, but also the whole grander idea of the giant mob here sharing in Joker's madness. I'm guessing this takes place much later in the film after she's become Harley Quinn, because she starts out as Dr. Harleen Quinzel, his doctor, treating him, and slowly it turns into a Florence Nightingale thing where she eventually falls in love with him and helps him escape. Which is the second big scene. You literally see the outside of Arkham Asylum burning to the ground. So that seems like when they make their escape. Like, they destroy Arkham, everything goes crazy, and they use the chaos to escape. And it looks like this is meant to be a parallel to the giant riots that you saw at the end of the first movie. And within these signs, there's another huge Easter egg, big reveal. Another big Batman character from the canon is Harvey Dent. So a version of Harvey Dent Two-Face is in the movie. And remember, he starts out as the district attorney before he turns into Two-Face. So it sounds like he's prosecuting Arthur Fleck at some point during the movie. And that's why the mob is protesting at the courthouse steps with Harley Quinn. It'll be interesting to see if he becomes Two-Face during this movie or if they just tease that. If they're really setting up Two-Face during this movie, if they actually did a third movie, he might wind up being the villain of that third movie, like Joker versus Two-Face. But based on Easter eggs around the set, they say that it's 1983 during the events of Joker 2, meaning only about 2 years have gone by. He's only been in Arkham Asylum for about 2 years when he breaks out, or he is broken out. Because in these brand new scenes, you actually see 3 different Jokers, which will remind fans of the Batman comics of the 3 Jokers storyline. But what I actually think is going on here is you see 3 different Jokers, including Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur Fleck in his Joker makeup, running through the streets, but it looks like Arthur is running from the other 2 Jokers. You see Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur Fleck character dressed in the gray suit with the clown makeup still on, running from the other two Jokers. One of them dressed like a regular rioter, like in regular street clothes with the clown mask from the end of the first movie, and the other one dressed in his iconic red suit with the same look that he had at the end of the first movie. He runs through the streets. There are a couple cop cars that he runs past, the other one rider with the clown mask getting tripped up and falling in the street. There's a couple different theories about what's actually happening in this scene and what's going on with these other Jokers. The most likely scenario is that these are two copycats that are trying to help Arthur Fleck escape, and he's running from the police. That's why there are police in the middle of the street with the parked cars. The whole concept of there being copycats was a big thing after the first movie. Everybody had theories that there would be a copycat Joker, or at least one, during the events of Joker 2. His whole execution of Murray, the big call to action speech of his, was fully televised for everyone to see, making him a celebrity in their eyes, inspiring more copycats, and there were a bunch of people already wearing copycat clown masks to begin with. It's possible that you have a bunch of copycats here dressed as the different versions of these characters, like as regular riders with the clown mask, others dressed just like Arthur Fleck to help him disguise himself, and that's why he's got the clown makeup back on. And part of his followers here, people who idolize him, are trying to help him escape. The other big thing you may have seen in these scenes they're filming is that on the marquee here he runs underneath, there's the movie Bucket of Blood, which is a Roger Corman 1950s movie about someone who's down on their luck who accidentally kills a cat. Then people view this killing as this act of high art and start to praise him, and he starts to seek higher and higher levels of praise, doing crazier and crazier things. So it seems like they're implying that that's kind of what's happening during the movie. Like Arthur Fleck gets praised for his acts during the first movie, people worship him, and he starts to do crazier and crazier things, as do the mob of his followers. It's also possible that he's running from them too, because the whole idea is that Arthur doesn't do a good job of distinguishing between what's really happening and what he's imagining. You can let me know in the comments what you think is going on in this particular scene with these other Jokers, either chasing him or trying to help him run away from the police. But we do know that Harley Quinn is going to be in the movie played by Lady Gaga, and she will be a real character, like she won't just be completely imagined by Arthur Fleck's Joker character. But you may have seen in your feeds, Todd Phillips also celebrated Valentine's Day by posting the first look at Harley Quinn meeting Joker, and he's actually in his classic clown makeup. His caption just read Happy Valentine's Day, and in the scene, you can see Harley Quinn is just captivated with Joker, like she can't believe what's going on. She's so excited. She's just so taken with it all. She seems hypnotized by him, which is kind of their dynamic in the comics and in a lot of the movies. Obviously in the DCEU, since that Birds of Prey movie, they moved slightly past it, like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn isn't enraptured with the Joker as she once was. And their relationship in the comics goes back and forth, like it's meant to be the worst, most toxic relationship you could possibly imagine. They even covered that arc on Batman the Animated Series with her leaving the Joker for a little while and just going to have fun with Poison Ivy and briefly trying to turn good. In the picture, it looks like she's just kissed him, like she's kissed him because he's kind of flabbergasted by it, like, hey, this is pretty cool. And she's got his clown makeup smudged on her lips, which is usually the opposite way these things go. Usually it's the girl who smudges her makeup on the dude, but because we're talking about the Joker here who wears clown makeup, he wears way more makeup than Harley Quinn, even though she eventually does wear a version of that makeup too. But you do notice they are both in plain clothes, which means she may have already helped him escape Arkham Asylum, allowing them to actually change clothes, and for him to actually be able to put the makeup back on. Which could be leading to this later scene, which we just got the new footage of, with her in actual Harley Quinn makeup and their spin on the original Harley Quinn suit. They're going to be filming the movie for a while, so if we get more footage, more cool scenes and Easter eggs, of course I'll do videos for it. If you have any questions about what's going on with the Joker franchise or the other DC movies, just write them in the comments below. Everyone click here for that brand new Zack Snyder Darkseid Returns trailer, and click here for my brand new Flash movie trailer. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.